No, just no.
We're gonna pop that in there. Make sure it's an oven safe pan. We're gonna let that cook for a few minutes. Then we're gonna pull it out and see how it does. Okay.
Hey all, today we're doing something very familiar for people who have just started watching me, and that is me, an ex-line cook, looking at popular cooking videos and really sharing my true opinions on it. So today's video is literally a surprise to me. I did not plan what this video is gonna be, and it was my fiance that put a folder called React on my computer, and I have just pulled it up. I have no idea what to expect. Let's start.
Welcome to Cooking with Jack. I'm Jack, and I'm here to do another cooking tip for
Oh, it's Cooking with Jack. And if you haven't seen any content by this channel before, there have been quite a number of other videos that have been kind of, I don't know, beating down upon his recipes. And what I'm going to try to do is just try to give you positive insights on what seems accurate from my professional experience and what is not.
Today we're going to show you how to make the perfect omelet. We got our eggs, we got our frying pan, we got our ingredients. Let's talk about what the problem with the omelets are. One of the problems is the underside of an omelet gets cooked too much. Then when you fold it over, you can never get the inside cooked. So it's runny on the inside, dark brown on the outside. That's the problem with omelets. Growing up, I always had problems. Some people put lids on it. Well, we're gonna show you a new method. One of our viewers wrote in, his name is Kelly, and he wrote us a great method, and I'm gonna try it for the first time. I don't even know if it's gonna work. So
I make omelets all the time. Omelet is supposed to be something that's really quick, versatile, customizable. I've made omelets maybe like 5 minutes before a meeting, right? Like that's the thing you make when you have to rush out the house. In some ways, it's faster to make an omelet than a perfect fried egg. So if you're having issues where your eggs are raw on the top and burned or browned, like too brown on the bottom, some brown is fine. Like in some cultures, eggs are fine to be a bit brown when it's an omelet. But in some cultures, like the French culture, usually you want the omelet to be completely yellow.
Screws up, just hang in there with me. We'll see what happens. But it's supposed to be the perfect omelet. All right, omelets are pretty easy when it comes to the ingredients, and you can put anything you want in an omelet. You would be surprised some of the stuff I've seen in an omelet. First thing you want to do is spray the pan. You can put butter. I don't use butter anymore, only because it's just not healthy.
Just to go on the record, I personally hate these artificial oils that are in the spray form, like Pam. Like, what even is it? I much rather would use a spray version of actual oil. Like we get sprayed olive oil. I'll show it to you right now. This is actual extra virgin olive oil, and this bottle basically is a vaporizer. It turns the actual oil that's in this bottle into vapors. There's no gas or whatever. I don't know, it freaks me out. On a cooking show, no.
Try and stay away from the butter. Spray it with Pam, spray it with Mazola, anything you want. Then you gotta decide how many eggs you want. A good eater is 3, but for presentation wise, I'm using 4 eggs today, and we're gonna crack those open. Decide what you want when it comes to ingredients. I'm going with the basics of ham, onion, tomato, and cheese. I'm using the Mexican blend cheese, but once again, there isn't anything you can't put in an omelet. So, crack these eggs open. Now, one thing I learned when it comes to blending the eggs, you're gonna find out that...
Is it just me, or is he throwing the shells in what appears to be a sink? Just given by how quickly that sound comes when he drops it. Blang. Like, that's kind of nasty, honestly. And when you work in a professional kitchen, and if Jack is doing a show, I know, in the house, I know, but it's like YouTube. You're trying to be like curate a show. You're trying to like produce a show. That's kind of disgusting how he's just throwing it in the sink. And you're always working in a professional setting. And if it's an instructional video to the viewers, not only do you have to produce great food, but you have to keep everything clean, because I think my chef always said that if you work in shit, your food will be shit.
I don't know why it fluffs it up. Never asked her, but she always taught me just pour a little bit of milk in there and then blend it in again. That will make it a little airier. Maybe it thins it out. I have no idea. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour this in our pan here. We're gonna bring it over the stove. We're gonna let that cook for a little bit, all on its own. I do a medium heat flame.
What are we doing here? I don't get it. What are we doing here? We are starting an omelet on a cold pan? I gotta see this.
Only because I don't like to lose control. With eggs, once you go too far, you go too far. Put the pan on there and let that cook for a little bit. Then once we start to get the bottom to solidify, we're gonna add the ingredients. But you gotta make sure we start cooking the bottom first. Well, here's what I do. I always give it a good check. Don't worry about it, it's eggs. It's gonna all mush all over, so it doesn't really matter. So I'll pull back a little bit just to see, oh, there it is. Yep, it's solidifying everywhere correctly. Okay, and just keep giving it a check. Like,
every ounce of me inside wants to scream and say, please stop touching the pan. Gotta let that omelet set. The more you move, the more you swirl the pan around, the slower it's cooking. Like, just let that heat do its job. Also, it's not like we have this blasting heat where there'll be enough residual heat while moving the pan around, like in a restaurant kitchen where omelets get done in, I would say, like 2-3 minutes, that you can afford to do that. Like, I wish I had the luxury of time like Jack to spend this much time making an omelet. I would say by the time that pan is hot enough and that omelet is cooked, I'd be done eating.
what's cooked already and what's not. So bring it back, let it cook some more. You see how it's almost all cooked? So we want to turn that off right away. In fact, I'm gonna just drop these ingredients in right now. Oh, lots of ham there, love that. A little bit of onion, get a little tomato in there. Now remember, it doesn't matter placement because when you fold it, it's all gonna fold onto each other anyway. So it'll blend better later on. So there you go, you got all your filling in there. Now here's the key. I have the broiler on this thing. We're gonna put it in the oven for a few minutes and we're gonna broil the top of this. We're gonna show you what that looks like. Oh, we almost forgot the most important ingredient. Let me reach over here, grab a pinch of this. This is the best part. What am I thinking? Just sit there and get that cheese on there. That's also gonna tell us when it's done broiling. This is the key that Kelly told me in the email. So let's see how this works out.
Another thing we're missing here, salt. I saw eggs getting cracked, shells going in the sink, eggs getting whipped, going in a cold pan with Pam, and then your toppings and cheese. How can you forget the salt? Also, if the cheese melting is the key to finding out when the omelette is done broiling, what if you're not having a cheese omelette? What do you do then? Do you not eat omelets? Can you not have a perfect omelet if you don't eat cheese? This here already is, I think, way too much work. If you've seen shows like Kitchen Nightmares, no, Hell's Kitchen, that's the other one, the competition show, where sometimes the chefs have to do a breakfast service. You see how quickly they're turning out omelets. I've never worked in a breakfast kitchen, so I cannot speak on how they actually do it. I don't even know any people who have worked in breakfast kitchens, but just based on seeing the service and the fact that in a service You get an order and it's breakfast. People are usually in a rush. Or you have a large family gathering coming together on a Sunday morning in the summer. They want to have a great breakfast, go out, enjoy the sun. You don't want a table of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to wait for your broiler. And you're not going to have 10 pans for the 10 people so that you have 10 omelets going under this giant broiler so that you can get perfect omelets for every single one of them. No, you probably have, I don't know, 3, 4 pans and you just whip them out really quick. You flip, fold, flip, fold, flip, fold. Done. None of this nonsense. No. Just no.
We're gonna pop that in there. Make sure it's an oven safe pan. We're gonna let that cook for a few minutes. Then we're gonna pull it out and see how it does. Okay.
That actually makes no sense because that's dangerous advice. Because just because a pan is oven safe does not mean it's safe at all temperatures that the oven can reach. A stainless steel pan, the one that Jack is using, sure, that can probably go up to like, I don't know, 500 Fahrenheit, 600 Fahrenheit. But what if you usually use a non-stick pan? That's dangerous to put under the broiler that can go as high as 500 Fahrenheit, 400 Fahrenheit. Usually, I believe non-stick pans should not go above 350 to max 375 Fahrenheit. It's just bad for you, so do not listen to this.
We've been cooking it in the broiler for about 2 minutes. Make sure you got your pot holder on. Oh, that would not be good. There it is. See how the cheese is melted? Oh, look at that. Let's see if we can do this right. Come on, baby. And flip. Oh, that's sweet. Now that, to me, is the perfect omelet.
Is it just me or was that a little bit sus? The way that the ham kind of just flopped as he was folding the omelet on the plate. Either there's so much cheese that created enough lubrication. I know it's a weird word to describe food, but that's what it looked like. If it's cheese, fine. It's a cheesy omelet, but I just don't know if the egg is cooked.
I want to thank Kelly for the idea, but you know what? It looks a little plain, so I'm gonna spice it up a little bit here. Give me a second. I'm gonna put a little bit of salsa on there to just spice it up. That's.
I wanna like the video. I want to like the tips, but when the goal is to make the perfect omelet, the key things on the top of your mind is using the top quality eggs, top quality techniques, top quality toppings to make the best omelet, the perfect omelet, right? The best one you've ever had. If the plate is bare, if the omelet looks bare, then why would you top it with what looks like jarred salsa? And another disadvantage of cooking the way that we did here, where we started the omelet in a cold pan, let that set, and then we add the toppings inside it only. It's almost like the egg is a tortilla, like a holder basically, a wrap for the toppings inside. The way that I do it is you chop it up. Maybe even saute a little bit before, or you don't have to, but you chop it small pieces and you whisk it. You work it with the egg. Not only does that impart the flavor of those toppings in the egg itself, but then when you fry the omelet, when you cook the omelet, you see all those colors pop out in your omelet. You add fresh herbs on top of your omelet to make more color. You serve it with like fresh roasted tomatoes or like just simple toast with butter, or there's so much more you can do than dump jarred salsa on a perfect omelet. I would respect it much more if that salsa was homemade. The salsa complemented ham and the cheese that's being used. I just don't see salsa and ham going. Maybe it's a combination that I need to try, and if you like that, then let me know down below. So maybe if it's popular enough, maybe I'll try it, but in my head it just doesn't work. The essence here is you don't need to overcomplicate things. Certain things work and they will always work, and if you master those techniques, you will be set up for the better. Now, if there is something similar to this that you want me to watch and give my thoughts on, then I'll be happy to provide, because this was fun to do. And I guess the fact that I was surprised with what I was gonna be watching and giving my opinions on was kind of exciting. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye all.